salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be talking about some book tropes that I love. I'm also going to be announcing some fun videos I have planned, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys today. Hello, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to be chatting with you guys today. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite tropes. Some of these tropes are well known and well loved, but some of them are overly specific, like very specific things I like in books. And we're going to chat about them. I'm going to give you probably one recommendation per trope because I don't want this video to be too long. And on top of all of that, this is kind of an announcement or introduction video. A few months ago, I did something called Trope Week where I posted a video every day on my channel where I picked a specific trope and gave you guys a bunch of recommendations on it. I had 7 different tropes that I did. I did friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, poly romances, age gap romances. I will link a playlist down below if you guys want to watch those videos. And now I am doing a Trope Week part 2. So I'm going to be posting a video every single day for a week on my channel. I haven't decided if it's going to be 5 days or 7 days, but you will get a video every single day, and each day is going to be a specific trope where I give you guys recommendations. I'm very excited. If there's a specific trope that you want me to visit during this week, leave a comment down below and I will definitely do a video for you. Be as specific as you want because I think that's fun. That was my announcement, but I wanted to do this introduction video where I talk about some tropes that I really enjoy. Right, first, I'm going to talk about well-known, well-established tropes, and then I will get into the more overly specific ones and the specific things that I like in books. So my first trope that I always gravitate towards is friends to lovers. I am not a fan of enemies to lovers. I enjoy like a soft, sweet romance. And friends to lovers just gives it to you. I like when our characters have a friendship or a connection and a trust with one another, and like they slowly fall in love with each other as well. My favorite thing is when they're childhood friends and there's something like maybe a kiss or a wedding or something that just like switches the flip for them where they're like, wow, I love this person in a romantic way. It just gives me all the warm butterflies in my stomach. A great example of that is Truth or Dare by Daniel Allen. I think this is a phenomenal friends to lovers book. Those are characters who are college best friends and they are meeting up for a wedding of one of their other best friends who are getting married. A group of friends decides to be nostalgic and play a game of Truth or Dare, and our characters get dared to kiss each other. They've always been friends but never saw each other in a romantic way until that one night that they kissed, and everything changed. Trying to keep it a secret because they don't want to ruin their friend group, and they kind of explore their feelings during this weekend wedding. It is so steamy, it is so fun. For sex positive, I enjoy Daniel Allen's writing and would recommend pretty much any book by her. A whole video where I binge read a lot of her backlist titles, so if you guys want to check that out, I will link it down below. Okay, another trope that I've always loved is love triangles. Love when there's more than one love interest. You know what? I'm trying to think of a love triangle where there's 2 heroines and 1 hero. It's usually like a heroine picking between 2 guys. If you guys have a love triangle where it's a guy picking between 2 girls, let me know because I will read that. But anyways, I enjoy love triangles. I like when there's more than one hero. I like the angst. I like the drama. One of my favorite love triangles is Sugar Daddy by Lisa Kleypas. It's actually one of my top 5 favorite books of all time. Lisa Kleypas is another phenomenal writer. This follows Liberty, who you really get to see her journey in this book. Her mother passed away and she has to care for her younger sister at a very young age. It follows her romance with her childhood sweetheart Hardy, and she also meets a sugar daddy. It's not a sugar daddy, sugar baby romance. I feel like the title is kind of misleading. She meets an older gentleman who is very wealthy and he has ties to her mother and her past, and in that she meets our other hero, Gage. So it follows the romance between Liberty, Hardy, and Gage. You do have to read this series in order because the second book is the boy that she does not pick. So love this book because it's super angsty, and Liberty is one of my favorite heroines. I connected with her and resonated with her in a lot of ways, and I will always go back to this book. Speaking of love triangles, I've always loved love triangles, but most of the time I'm always rooting for them to be a polyamorous relationship. Every single time I read a love triangle, I'm always like, oh, but everything would be so much better if all of these characters were in love and ended up together in one happy polyamorous relationship. 3 is always better. I am here for threesomes, foursomes, and more sums. I almost always gravitate towards poly romances because I just love that dynamic. One of my favorite polyamorous romances is Learn My Lesson by Katie Roberts. This book does have a couple trigger warnings and dabbles in the world of BDSM, so definitely read the trigger warnings if you're interested in this book. Typically is a twist on Disney villains where the villains are the hero and they are all kind of tied to this BDSM club. The book follows a different Disney couple, but this one is Hades, Meg, and Hercules. Hades and Meg are already in an established relationship, but Hades has a vendetta against Hercules' dad Zeus. He definitely wants to get revenge, and he decides to do that by bringing Hercules into their relationship. It starts with a revenge plot, but obviously they form a romance, and Meg are a little bit more dominant, and Hercules is the submissive that kind of rounds out their triad. And I love Katie Roberts. I pretty much read anything she will ever write, so this book is fabulous. I do have a whole video on polyamorous romances that I love. I talk about a lot of books in that video, so I will link it down below because I have so many more that are just absolute favorites. So those are like my top 3 favorite romances: friends to lovers, love triangles, and poly romances. I gravitate towards them a lot. I went to like the overly specific book tropes because I think that is really fun. This one I absolutely adore is Cinnamon Roll Heroes. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, oh, that's not a specific book trope, but just wait. I love when we have a cinnamon roll hero who is the unexperienced one and maybe even a virgin. Romance, we definitely have our heroines that are inexperienced and that whole virgin trope. Actually, in historical romance, it's usually the man who has experience and is more dominant and self-assured. But I definitely like a shyer, inexperienced hero. I think it's something really sweet about it. And one of my favorites is Spitfire by Christy Caldwell. This is the last book in the Wicked Wallflower series. I think that you can read the last book as a standalone, but the rest I definitely recommend in order. This was the book I read first, and it still remains my favorite. Our heroine finds our hero and nurses him back to health because he was beaten pretty badly in the streets of London. Spend some time together as she is nursing him back to health, but they end up parting ways. Little did she realize that he is a duke who is a part of Parliament and a part of passing a lot of bills. He ends up accidentally passing a bill that is going to shut down her opera house, and she is furious. So she approaches them and it follows their romance. The Duke, she is a lady of the night, if you will, so they definitely do have a class difference in this book. Our heroine is very sex positive and confident in herself, but our hero is a virgin who was saving himself for marriage. He's experienced, but he's really just gone for our heroine and makes a lot of sacrifices for our heroine, and I loved his little face, okay? I loved him so freaking much. I read a lot of historical romance. I mean, a lot of historical romance is my favorite genre, and I always gravitate towards historical romances that have class differences. I don't know if this is like a specific book trope, but I absolutely love when we have a non-titled hero. So the heroine is either titled or having to give something up to be with the hero. Like all the time we have dukes and earls marrying people who are in a lower class difference than them, but they don't really lose much because they're men, versus a woman who is like a daughter of an earl, daughter of a duke, who is expected to marry high and ends up marrying like a self-made man. I love me some self-made men. I feel like in historical romances we gravitate towards dukes because it's, you know, fancy. It's like the king of historical romance. Obviously, you guys know my absolute favorite historical romance is, again, The Magic, and that definitely has the class difference where our hero is a self-made man and he's not titled. Our heroine is a daughter of an earl, and she's definitely expected to marry her title or greater and stay in the nobility, but she falls for a self-made man, our hero McKenna, and I just love reading about that class difference. This is an angsty second chance romance. About this book forever. I'm so sorry I always talk about this book, but it's my favorite. Hi, hello, editing Sam here, really quick, just popping in. I normally write notes when I'm filming videos so I don't forget anything, but I didn't for this video and I forgot some specific tropes that I really enjoy, so I thought, hey, let me just pop in real quick and talk about them. What I realized is I like sports romances, but not just any sports romances, like only hockey sports romances. I don't know why. I cannot tell you why, because I don't really like reading about like football or baseball. I just like hockey romances. Literally, I gravitate towards them all the time. I think they're so much fun to read, although I have never ever watched a hockey game in my entire life. Isn't that weird? But one of my favorite hockey romances is definitely Him by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. It's a friends to lovers, kind of like a second chance romance. Both of our heroes play professional hockey and they are childhood friends. They used to go to the same hockey camp, but they haven't talked in years because they had kind of a steamy moment with one another that they didn't really know how to navigate with their friendship, and one of the heroes is not completely out yet. So they end up meeting years later at a game and kind of reconnecting, and it follows their romance. It's 2 books and a novella, and I love it. I love it so much. I just love hockey romances. It's sports romances. If it's football, baseball, rugby, literally anything but hockey, I'm probably not reading it. Although I don't mind like a boxing romance. I do have some romances where the heroes are boxers, and I'm kind of into that. A very specific thing that I like in books is when we're following multiple point of views, and I'm not just talking about like it alternating between the hero and the heroine. I like when we have to follow different characters and like each character has their own plot development and character arc and romance going on. Obviously, all of the perspectives are going to tie in together, but I just really like when we follow multiple characters and multiple romances in one book. An example of that would be like the Palm South University series. Pretty long series. It follows like 6 different characters. Basically, the premise is that it follows a bunch of characters in college, and they're all kind of in, what are they called? Sororities. And what is the male version of sorority? Oh my gosh, my brain. It's so late right now and I cannot form words. Fraternity. A fraternity. It follows a bunch of characters that are all in sororities and fraternities, and it's like a wild college time. It's told in like an episode format, basically described as like Gossip Girl, Greek, and New Girl all combined, like the TV shows, and that's kind of how it's told. They all have different plots. Everyone has something else entirely going on, and they have different romances, and you follow all of these characters, and then obviously they do intercept as well. But I just really like that. I like following different characters, getting different plots, and I just think that's really fun. Another one that I read recently was Girls Weekend by C.M. Niscata. Okay, as always, my camera keeps dying and I need to finish editing this video, so those are just 2 more things that I really like in books, and I will go back to your regularly scheduled program right now. Okay, so I know this was a little bit of a shorter video, but really it was kind of just like a fun video to announce Trope Week and let you guys know that more videos are to come with specific tropes. Let me know if you guys like any of these tropes, and if you have recommendations, leave them down below. As always, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!